That's it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday session. Oh, hello to him. We're going to go around the group and do a little introduction. Your name again, please. Sim.
There's a seat down the back there. Yeah.
Good morning. And we have
That's Natalie.
Natalie. Is it?
Jimmy.
Hey, Kristen. Troy.
Fight. And no, Dean. Where's Dean? Oh, there he is.
And running away.
Yeah. No, Dean is in the speaker's seat because where'd you
I
go?
don't know if you can see clear. Is it clear?
You can see Dean's doing our spiel today in Kat's absence. He's agreed to do a guest speaker spot.
But she's not quite absent. She's just there.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that. No pressure, Dean.
No,
Enjoy. Whatever
thanks.
comes
Yeah,
up.
yes.
Did Kat want to say a few words first? Kat, you got anything for us?
Well, I'll just say good morning, and I'm looking forward to hearing Dean and everyone after.
Thank you,
Is it-
beautiful. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. Never done this and never will again. But here we are, and here it is, like non-duality, and I might have to close that door. And so that non-duality is the thing. So in the preservation of like Bob style was traditionally like a spiel, a talk about what that is, an explanation, a description, a pointer, and then followed by just a group discussion. This may go anyway. I really don't know. There's no rehearsing. There's no planning. There's no preparation. It just is whatever's going to come out. And if we all look, we'll see that life is actually doing exactly that to everyone, constantly, all the time. Anyway, so there's actually no difference so there's no one like this. So when Bob used to start by saying, we don't teach you anything, we don't tell you anything, it's absolutely true. Like, we're not really going through this life learning things, and it looks like it is. It's an apparent existence, apparent show. But the non-duality is about the one essence patterning, shaping, forming as everyone, as everything, as every voice, every thought, every tree, every leaf, every bit of sky, every experience, and everything is that, and we are that expression, and that is the true essence, that is the nature, that's the message in a sort of nutshell, and the rest of the time we spend clarifying that, which is crazy, because the moment you speak about it, you deviate. The movement of any thought, any description, takes you away from the simplicity of your very being, the very essence of the existence. And what is that? I mean, the famous words that, you are that. What is that? That is this. That is the existence itself. Some people use the word awareness, but I'm not too happy with that word, in the sense that it implies that, well, it doesn't really imply, but people might get a little bit stuck that there's a me being aware of this, or there's a you being aware of that. And really, awareness is really the immediacy of what is actually happening now. And the fact that you know that it's happening, there's a knowing that it's actually happening. Who is knowing it, or who is aware of this? That's another. There is no one. It's just knowing itself as itself in this expression of life, in this expression of cats, videos, microphones, people. And I guess, the rest of the meeting is Bob was brilliant at describing it in many different ways, presenting different angles, pointing it out through the use of descriptions of stories, of nature, of different examples, different ways of really pointing to the same essence that we've already summarized here. And we've already moved. Have we moved away from it? Can we move away from it? Is there such thing as moving away from reality. The reality is just this, just the essence of existence itself, the existence of the appearance, which is absolutely present. And it's beyond present, it's beyond now. Now implies before and after. It's so immediate, it's so close that it's unfathomable, undescribable, unimaginable, and yet I guess it's the ground in which all imaginations and ideas and concepts and everything still exists within. But saying within it makes it look like there's a within or there's a without, and there isn't. It's so immediate that it's not limited to a dimension or a measurement of distance, a measurement of time. And it gives rise to the appearance of time and distance at the same time, which is it's crazy. That's why it's a wild show, and we take ourselves. I guess one of the reasons we have these meetings seems to be that we are convinced that we are these individuals who were born and who are going to live a life and who are going to die. And we are this body. We are, and there's a felt, and rightfully so, I guess, because it seems to appear that way. It's reinforced from, and for very good reason. It's reinforced because if it's not reinforced, and if it's not, if you were born in a world with no words and no interaction, with no relationships, you'd be dysfunctional. The development wouldn't be right. And there's a few examples of that, but without getting carried away with those stories, what I'm just trying to share is that there's this sense of we're living a life and we're going to die. So in this time that we're living this life, it could be this many years, whatever it is, we're convinced of the reality of this, and we were born to certain parents in a certain socioeconomic region. We've got certain skills and abilities, and fundamentally, there's an uncomfortability about that. There's a discomfort. There's something that's not everyone sort of can share and fundamentally say something is not right. I'm not quite happy. I need something a little bit more, a little bit better. I need this. Whether it's material or spiritual, it really doesn't make any difference, because there's a yearning for something, and that yearning could be the next car or house or partner, or it could be more the next meditation, the next deeper insightful ability to just stay present and focused and meditate uninterruptedly and unbrokenly for 7 days in a row, or whatever it is, but that arises from this sense of like uncomfortability about the way things are, with the way, and we innately we know that there's something is not right with this individualized perspective, and this sense of a limitedness, boundness, constrictedness, whatever that may appear. Even when things are good, even when things are fantastic, it's always like we want them to last longer, or whatever it is. So fundamentally, that brings up this seeking, this searching energy. There's a searching energy, and that there's no cause and effect. So saying that may be the reason why people have ended up in this room is ridiculous too, because there is no reason why anyone ended up anywhere. It is the whole universe, you could say, conspired for this moment to exist the way it does, and nothing else. And that applies to everything. So, I mean, if that can be heard, even as a glimpse, all of a sudden, any problem, any situation, whatever it is, it dissolves. And the immediacy is the luminous sense of presence takes over and is what is already there. It doesn't take over. Taking over is crazy, because it would imply it's taking over something that was and wasn't, and it's not like that at all. These are just words to try and point to that which can't be really put into words. And Bob was really good at that. Bob had eloquent ways of expressing it continuously, and this expression will express it in fumbly, mumbly, stupid ways, or whatever it is. And it's really lovely to to know that like that's the essence expressing through this body. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good or there's no bad. Although there is a Josh which could be considered wrong and bad. Love you, Josh. Welcome. Come in. You can sit there if you like. So yeah, so this sort of contraction, is it really a contraction? Is it really a seeking energy? I don't know what it is, but if everything is one essence, patterning, shaping, forming, it's actually the same energy dividing or expressing itself in infinite energies. So it's still energy. And energy is only a description, and it's only one way of really looking at what we're looking at, which is actually not really looking at anything. Because if we're looking at it from a place, from a me looking at something, we're already missed it. That's why Bob will start the meeting with the fact that you are already that, because that annihilates all misconceptions immediately, so that we're looking from the right place. So, we're sitting here now, we can freaking hell relax. You're not going to get anything. There's no words of any wisdom or any intelligence or any higher or any lower that's actually coming out of here, because this is just sitting here, just an expression, a reminder of our essence. It's our essence. It's one essence. And it's, so there's nothing you can actually get from that, because there's no one to actually get it. And the getting and not getting is the appearance. And the appearance is that. And appearance is that one essence, appearing as a separate me, looking, searching, getting, listening, hearing. There is no hearer as such. There's no seer as such. And we can seemingly share these, these different point of views, perspectives. And is there a point to view from? There actually is no point of view. What's the first? Is a reference point or self-center with any substance or independent nature cannot be found. At this point, like, just do a drum roll and just, because if there's no self-center as such, all point of views are all point of views. That's the appearance of that. That is this essence appearing as all these point of views. And it's a marvelous show. Like, it's an infinite array. It's a display. It's a show. And this is this is now a little bit of a kicker. If you haven't got it already, it's empty. It's absolutely empty. It's not these point of views. If I look and discuss or think about my past, there's a past, there's a Dean, there's a good guy, a bad guy, or whatever. In an instant, in this immediacy, it's gone. In this immediacy, it's memorized. Who's controlling any of that? No one's actually doing it. And it's appearing. And all of a sudden, is there a past if I don't think about it? No. I mean, that's the words that people use. Is there a future if I don't think about it? No. Like, so what am I? If I'm not all these memories, muddled up, sort of appearing, things they're all appearances. Again, the memory is an appearance, is the one essence appearing as an energy called a memory, or a thought is absolutely the same thing. The one essence appearing as an energy called a thought. Where is it being registered? Where is it being seen from? It's just being seen. It's just being registered. There is no register of these things. So imagine for a moment, like, these, a series of thoughts come past and say, I'm Dean, I'm the good guy, I'm the bad guy. And each one seems to be like believed in. And I must be this, I must be a good speaker, I must be a bad speaker, I must know what I'm talking. And they just keep going. As they believe, they just continue and continue and continue and continue. And all of a sudden, somehow, the attention seems to fixate upon that, and the misconception or the ignorance, ignoring the essence is seemingly overlooked. And we are that story. We become that story, but we could never become. How could we possibly become a story? So the beauty of this kind of message is that You don't need to be anywhere. No one. This is absolutely universal. You don't have to listen to this message. The one essence is, would like to call it God or whatever you want to call it, is appearing as everything in every way, in every shape and form, and always in movement. So, in that sense, anyone in any part of the world, any kind of existence any kind of sentient existence in this human form, it can't be anything. There's nowhere they need to go. There's nowhere they're already that. The thatness and the thisness and the one essence is that expression. And it'll be, it's either revealed or not. How can something be revealed? It means it implies it was hidden. Can it really be hidden? Can it really be veiled? Can that essence actually be veiled? If it is it's the only show in town. It's the only thing is happening is that essence. So how could it is that which gives the appearance of thoughts, of separation, of me, of this, of that, of good or bad? Could that be hidden if it is made of the same substance in which its God essence is, or whatever you want to look at it, or describe it as? So, sorry, this is just hilarious sometimes because there's nothing funny. Like the funniness is the whole show. The whole show, like as if there's really, like, did you honestly believe there's a Dean character really who's going to tell someone something better to realize something that's, when this is that same essence? It's absurd. And yet here we are, and we don't know, like, the next, how it's appearing, what it's doing. We actually do not know anything. There is no, like, there's no limit. There's no boundary. There's no beginning. There's no end to it. It just is that immediacy appearing as this appearance. And in whatever, sometimes I like to seem to describe it as, it seems like this kaleidoscope, and all the different little jewels in there that you just turn the thing, and it's constantly moving, and everything's a different array. Like every different moment is a different array, and yet there is no different moment. This is a wild thing, and it's so simple. It's so obvious as well. There is no moments. There's no series of moments strung together in some imaginary way. It's always immediate. So immediacy is timelessness, because and you can see it. Like you look at the first memory of your first day at school, or the first time you got in trouble, or the first good thing that happened, or whatever memory it is. When it was there, it was this. It was the same thisness, same aliveness, same sense of awareness that is right now, and it's never changed. So throughout whatever's changed, all the changing stories and the endless stories, they were always appeared on that same screen, on that same essence, on that same thing that is here right now, and it's the same screen, or the same essence, or the same fabric of appearing. That is appearing to everyone. It's not appearing differently. The shapes within the appearance are in constant change, but the screen in which they're appearing on is the same screen. There's like one screen, and no one is exempt from it. You don't need to even have vision to have this screen. It's that sense of presence. It's that sense of aliveness. It's that sense of knowing that you're alive, but you don't even know that you're alive. It's just an aliveness. It's just an existence. Fundamentally, like everything, when you look at this stuff, and one way of describing this is that things get stripped away. You seem to be looking at it through this magnifying glass. There's no looker. This is just another appearance of a process. So I don't like to discuss these things because it sounds like there's, implying that, we need to go through a process. It's a process of scrutiny and examination, and I'm going to that was maybe a notification. Yeah, could be a sign. I think it's a sign. Definitely a sign. Well, anyway, I might just pause for a moment and let Kat say something, perhaps, or Tanya, yeah, or Bob, or do you want to say something at all, Kat, at this point, or I'll just have a pause.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm really delighted hearing the same message put out so broadly and beautifully. Yeah, it's a delight.
Well, thanks for being nice.
It's too easy. No, it really is. I mean, you've described it beautifully, and you brought up everything into the picture. The immediacy of this moment, the absence of any past of any sort, the past being just past or future being just in the mind, being just a thought, in the immediacy of experiencing that which we know directly, that which is obvious, is this moment that is always here. Every time you look, is now. Every time you look, there is aliveness, there is beingness. That's direct experience. That's something trustworthy, not something that was indoctrinated. Like you are a person, you are a human, you are a body. Those are all indoctrinations. Those were conditioned to a little child as it was born and was growing up, and it was basically like a hypnosis. I tell you who you are a little boy, or you are a little girl, now you know. Really? What is really known? The only thing that is really, really known directly is right here, is the I am, and the here is this moment now, and is the existence. Everything else, and even that put in words, is already too far away from the direct knowing. What I am, how can I know that? I am that. I can't know it as an object because I am that. The looking for what I am is looking for concepts again, is building up the cage of concepts. I am a human, I am a person, I am on the planet Earth, in that or that country. All words, all concepts. In the beginning was the word, so I'll put those words everywhere and I have the beginning. But really, that which cannot be denied, that which is known without that indoctrination or hypnosis, that somebody told you, your mommy told you, or your school, or your politicians, that is right here, right now. You don't need to be told. This is just a gentle reminder to recognize what is already here. That there is really nothing to achieve. There is nothing to be found. There is nothing to be had, because it is already here always. Every time you look, that aliveness, that consciousness, that sentience is here, is present. And there is a sense of I am. And that sense of I am is precious. This is the only thing of value. It's not even a thing. But we instinctively preserve life. The whole machine is set up for preserving that sentience. Because without preserving it, of course, there is no dream also. And life is like a dream, and what a dream it is. There is a consciousness present that can't be denied. And within that spectrum, within that space of consciousness, there is a dream unfolding. There are clouds on the sky, there are thoughts in the head, there are objects of seeing in the field of seeing, there are sounds in the field of hearing. But labels are being stick upon them, interpretations, meanings, are added in direct knowing that this is this colorful dream in which nothing makes any sense, it just is. And Dean beautifully put it out. But the moment narrative comes in and starts segregating it and start making sense of it and start adding meaning, placing itself, assuming reference point, and relating everything as relevant or irrelevant or important or likable or dislikable, and the whole story comes up. Well then, with that reference point, comes the sense of separation, comes the isolation, comes the sense that, Dean said it again, something's not quite right. There is some limitations, there is some instinct, insight that there must be more. It can't be just this poor, miserable little me searching and running to get something bigger and better or more pleasant, more fulfilling. But when the relaxation from that sense of poor, miserable little me or narrative, relaxation from the fixation of that narrative is allowed, and it doesn't even need anybody's permission, in the recognition that it cannot be contained in the narrative, that overlay of blah, 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 blah is just the overlay of blah, blah, blah and nothing else. There is a natural relaxation, a recognition that yes, I don't have to focus on anything. Not focusing envelops and embraces the whole field. And in that relaxed attention, everything still appears as it does, but it appears to the field, not to the reference point. And now suddenly I am that field, not the reference point. I'm not that little vehicle. The vehicle is just my costume. I am the life itself. The body-mind is just so that I can see. I have the little goggles there, and I have the little pictures, and I have that life, that field has a little transmitter receiver put into it so it can express and it can experience. But I am that field of aliveness, and everything, the whole world, the whole room is happening within that field, is happening in me. It's not that I am in the world is in me. And that is the experience when the narrative is gently pushed aside, ignored, instead of ignoring the direct experience. That I am the seeing, and within it, everything else unfolds. I am the hearing. I am, full stop. Even translating it to the senses is already one step too far away. But without thinking, the dream is unfolding, just like when you sleep at night. You are the consciousness, and within you the dream is unfolding and everything that's in it. And staying with that direct experience, of course the mind will come and offer the meaning. And let it do. If it sits in its right position and it offers the solutions, it is a tool, it is a servant, it is not the master anymore. You see the mind, you experience the mind, you know the mind, you the space, the cognizing emptiness. The emptiness with the capacity of knowing. Experiencing. Within you, the space comes. And it is translated to seeing, hearing, tasting, touching. And what? And smelling and thinking. And then it is appreciated in a completely different way. Then the thinking is not a curse. I was catching up with a bunch of my friends and they ask, yes, I get it, I understand it, this is all clear. But the mind is still so persistent, it's still yaps all the time. It is still thinking and analyzing all the time. So what? If it is again given all the credibility, well then, of course, there is a suffering coming with it. But if it is really used as a tool, if it is not being believed, if it is just part of the processing, like Bob would say that we habitually focus all of that attention, or almost all of the attention in the thinking, and we overlook what is happening in seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling. If we focus some of the attention in the sounds, hearing, the background noise, some of the attention in feeling, awareness of the gut instincts in the body, some of the attention in the visual field, maybe even on the peripheries of the visual field. And we distribute that attention more evenly, that everything has space in that attention, not just the narrative. Then the narrative is not going to be that big of a deal. Let it be that, the storyteller. Just like hearing the radio in the background, or perhaps radio is too absorbing, but hearing whatever the kind, low level background music. And everything else also has its space, can be experienced. Life gets easier and it's more pleasant, it's more flowy, and it's more interesting, because instead of obeying the mind and feeling constant stress of that obeying, now there is a relaxation, there is a curiosity, there is a space for discovery. And every moment is fresh and new and will never ever be the same again. And it deserves to be acknowledged fully, rather than just talked over by the narrative. I don't like it, it shouldn't be like this. What's wrong with me? And that one is to be experienced right now, not after another satsang, another book, or another experience. Right now, that attention can already be relaxed enough to envelop the whole field of experiencing, and to put that narrative in its right place. Let it be there. Don't touch it. There's no need to fix it. It is also a navigational tool which is helpful. It's a problem solver. It's the judge. It's everything. But that's not the oracle. Believing the mind as if it was the oracle. This is a voice in my head, so it must be true. No. It's just like the narrative in any software that you have in the computer or YouTube or anywhere, or your audiobook reader. It's a software. It doesn't have to be put in a position of power. I think that's enough, really. That's the point where everyone attend to the meeting and give us your insights. That's how it sits with us. What did you hear? What was resonating? What was the pointer that was more kind of touching the heart than stimulating the mind? But even if the mind is stimulated and comes up with questions that require some explanation, well, that's, as Dean again, he beautifully put it, that's that too. That's that one life or one essence as well. There's no one doing it. So if the question bubbles up or objections bubble up, bring them on. They're good conversation starters too. Or just share how it is to be here in this moment now. How it is to actually notice this moment, to live it fully rather than overlook it and talk over it. What's the question?
Dean,
Thanks.
is this working? Do you
Should
think?
be. Hope so.
Thank you for a beautiful spiel. Long time coming. But I loved it. Just set me totally adrift. I was expecting you to do the circus theme though, you know.
That's the
Da,
time.
da, 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 da.
We'll end with that.
And then refer to us all being clowns or something like that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Excuse my coughing. I want to just give some recognition to folks who posted some comments. So we've got Tibor says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tibor. We miss you. Anita says, good morning, all. Annika is watching. Deborah says, hi, everybody. Anthony says, hello, people. Catherine is watching. And Gilbert, good morning, Gilbert. Nothing can be added, nothing can be taken away. The being is silent. As it says in the Upanishads, two birds sit in a branch of a tree. One bird eats the fruit, the other does not eat. It watches the first bird. That is the pointer to an activity that is happening for us all. Being is unity. The apparent individual is only a thought. Cease to follow thoughts. Watch the mind and see how it operates. Beautiful advice. Watch the mind, see how it operates, and leave it there. Full stop. The end. And try and analyze it. Go down the rabbit hole of understanding this or that, or gathering concepts in order to be able to progress forward. That's all nonsense. As Dean said so clearly, you are that right now, nothing else. Perfectly, absolutely still, nothing lacking, full, alert, choiceless awareness. As Dean says, there is a natural registering of everything. You know it. There is a knowing, not a you to know. There's not a knower. It's just a knowing. It's a happening constantly, spontaneously, ever changing in the appearance. But in the background of it all, it appears as the background. Really, it's everything. There's nothing that happens outside of your consciousness. Everything happens in your consciousness, just like in a dream. There is no difference. People say, the difference between the dreaming at night and the daydream is that there's a sense of continuation, or something, keeping going in the daydream. Well, that also happens in the night dream. There's a continuation. There's a seeming flow of one event seeming to precede another and a continuing on. If you like, it's just dreams inside dreams inside dreams. But just like your experience of the night dream, which is the giveaway, it's the giveaway to the whole thing. It's the same. We're looking in on what's happening. All sorts of stuff is going on. Changing all the time. Yet, your seeming point of perception, the node in the dream, stays unmoved, still. The presence, the awareness, all sorts of words we give it, but no words can capture it adequately. No surprises there. And we're limited with words. Words are both You know, the disease and the cure, in a way. But all pointers point back to where?
That
Rome.
way, that way.
Rome, she says. To you. To consciousness. To your consciousness.
Well, I might say something. I don't know, right? So this consciousness, this sense of being, this sense of I amness, like there's a felt sense, you know, like a visceral thing that I am a body. There's a bodily thing that appears and doesn't appear, and it's a fascinating. And when that appears, it's like the thought I am is not the sense of I am. The I am is just I amness, is just existence. The thought I am is like there's a me who's existing. It's very subtle, but like in the deep sleep, I'm just going to share how it's sort of appearing, and I'm talking shit. Like there's no truth to anything. But this is just how it's like evolved very recently too. And so it's like you're in deep sleep and there's no registering of anything. And then if you could just bear with me for the example, like all of a sudden there's a sense of a leg. So it's like we're slowing the film strip down into little frames. There's a sense of a leg. Then there's a sense of a second leg or an arm, you know, and there's an arm. And then there's a sense of a bum on a bed. Oh, there's a bed, you know. Oh, there's an arm on the bed as well. And then there's the bed's in a room, you know, the bed's in a room, and there's a sense of a body, and the body starts to sort of come together. And then there's a sense, this is the body on a bed in a room. It's my body, right? And so that all this comes, this is just a way of explaining it. And it's almost like that consciousness. Nisargadatta said the fluids in the brain come together and the I am is created. And it's like chemically, you know, biologically the body is waking up from deep sleep and the chemicals stir, and all of a sudden this kind of process, if you're following the madness, it seems to come into existence. And so, but what is actually seen is that it's like the whole consciousness is an absolute fake as well. Like it's that's the appearance. The consciousness is the appearance of everything, which is the emptiness appearing as a sense of presence, and with the sense of my presence comes the world. If you're following, like I'm just describing in a little breakdown fractions, but all of this occurs like that, you know, in less than that, and it's all of that is actually spontaneous and immediate. That so it happens like that, and all of a sudden it's convincing that the next thought that appears in this little fragmented section that I'm describing is I am a Dean in the world. I am a Dean who has lived a life in this world, and it builds on itself, and it's pretty. This is why it's empty, because it's actually there's no one seeing this. Like it is just being seen. It's something's registering this whole show that I'm describing now, and this whole show that I'm describing is that individual me, and then all the seeming problems. I mean, I'm just saying the same stuff that we've already said, but I'm just describing it in this way because it feels so. I don't know, like the words are just coming out and describing it that way because it feels that way and it seems that way, and it's not the way. There is no truth spoken from this. There's no trying to tell someone else that I know better than you, or this is the right way, or this is how it is. Absolute nonsense. It's just this expression bubbling up, and there's like that's all. I really just wanted to share that I actually, when people talk about the consciousness, I think the consciousness is actually a fraud. It's actually the big joke. The granddaddy of all the joke is the consciousness itself, and yet it's also everything, and that's why I say it's the granddaddy of the joke, because it's nothing, and it's the appearance of it, and
it is the illusion.
yes,
It is
it
the
is
imagination.
the illusion.
Essentially, is another word for it.
Yeah, and
But then we're so limited, aren't we? How do you say
yeah.
consciousness? I am that prior to I am. Like you said it though. It's a really good way to give an example of it, is to be really clear that it's impossible to articulate it. Because once you do, well, you're conceptual. It's preconceptual. Preconceptual. Wow.
So has anyone got an argument with this? Anyone?
We dare you.
Come on, bring it on.
Come on, let's have fun.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah.
It's a really good question. So that was really good. Thank you. I really enjoyed that. What is it that is clocking all of that?
Registering.
Yeah, that you said the word registering, but what is it that's clocking that?
It's the same thing, that it's all appearing. It's the one
Right.
essence. So who the hell knows what's all you can say is that it is.
Yeah.
Is there a clocker? Then the clocker, the register. Who's the register? Like it's endless. Like it just is. It's like that's how the appearance is appearing, and it's just a description of an appearance. It's unknowable. It's unknowable how it comes to be and why it comes to be. There's no why. So I don't know, unless someone else has got some smart ass answer about it all.
So what do I need to do?
Yeah, that's kind of it.
So
Like
what do you do? with
you
that?
talk about, or you spoke about consciousness being being the trickster. U.G. Krishnamurti, in his book The Mystique of Enlightenment, is one of those books that basically had me falling yet again, because he's basically talking about the same thing. There is no such thing as enlightenment. There's no such thing as consciousness. There's just this ever presence, and it's like, well, yeah, there's a chasm.
Addicted to getting something.
Yeah, so addicted to the consciousness or the conceptualness of non-duality. So what's clocking all of that? Because there's something here that's clocking all of that, that gets it. But
It's all of it rather than one aspect. Yeah, from my perception is it's the everything clocking it rather than trying to find the thing that's clocking it. So, and then each of us is that. In a, yeah.
Yes.
We're each a reference point in a non-reference point. And then there's the reflection on every different version of that.
And you know, Bob would say, "Who's asking?"
yeah,
Right? Who's asking? It's an
Yeah.
appearance of a seeming point in space and time, or a consciousness or something that you know. That is the imagining, the appearance of it. So it's part of it, and we have to use words. We use words like consciousness. You can say no consciousness. Well, then just invent another word to use.
The thought wants to freeze the flow. Yeah, the flow is the dream. Sorry.
Cole.
Children.
In a way, we're addicted to understanding and conceptualizing, and then it's also then the letting go of that to feel the flow and the emotion. I think for me, it's the feeling of the emotions, the good, the bad, not preferring one over the other, like because we want to hold on to this nice one, let go of that horrible one, but just feel it without preference. And then we get back into concept again. And then it's then not the not knowing is the freedom. And then we get back into wanting to know again. Yeah.
I just want to say thanks, Lynn. That was fabulous. I really enjoyed that, and I thought you did a very good job at explaining the complete diversity of everything that appears. So I just wanted to add one tiny little bit to that, was that, you know, we all come up with ideas. We come up with non-duality. We come up with religions. Everybody has a different idea of what reality is, and that's part of that diversity. Doesn't mean anything that, you know, I think one thing and somebody else thinks another thing, perceives reality as this or that. And you actually cannot, as has been also clearly pointed out here, you can't say anything about anything.
Because you know nothing and you do nothing.
Sure.
There's endless points of view,
Yep.
and there's no point to view from.
Yep.
Yeah, I also want to echo what Cole said about the thank you for the sharing. Yeah, for me, it's been a lot about preferences. You know, this is good, this is not good, so we kind of try to go one way or another way because that's what we believe is best, you know, for us. But who's it best for? And who's the one trying to make something best for itself? That's the thing. Like, if there's a me that's trying to you know, control its life in some kind of way, and say, well, I can calculate kind of the what the average amount of time I can spend in samadhi, or and then therefore this will get me to some point in the future, or how much time can be spent with whatever guru or this or that. But ultimately, because there isn't anyone to go there isn't anywhere to get, and further than that, there's no one to get any kind of you know, achievement, anything like that, any achievement or attainment. But it's interesting because it loves to kind of try and reflect on its own existence as a separate entity. But there's no way to do that, because that is the nature of separation. To say, I'm kind of looking, you know, I'm the subject, and this is an object, but there's no subject, there's no object. It's all kind of, you know, this natural expression just happening. So yeah.
Oh, yep, but after, all in good time. You had something to say?
Oh no, I just said nicely said.
Oh, nicely said. Oh, sorry. Okay. I brought something in random to share. So I did a little fortune telling with the Chinese sticks, and you pick your fortune. And I said, number 39, bad lot. The message is sent from the distant horizon. That's actually quite a nice phrase. Its meaning is obscure, just nonsense and worthless. A stone cannot be turned into a mirror. So be wise, don't waste your time, but save your labor. And then there's an explanation. All efforts will turn out in vain, though you have made 1,000 plans. So patience and contentment should be the golden rule. This is a parable about the impossibility of turning a stone into a mirror. You should not be so foolish as to attempt something beyond your ability. You must be content with your lot and keep things as they are. So yeah, just something random to add to the mix.
I can update this, or maybe Kat has something too.
It's my show today. This is one I'll just a couple of things like that jump out. Even what you just read, it's like this nowness, this one essence, this one immediate show is appearing in endless stories, parables, teachings, so many, and they're all pointed in one way, and yet it's all a joke in another way, because you can't point, like you can't. There's nothing that can say anything about this, because it's what allows these words and parables and ideas and philosophies and theologies and religions and whatever you want to talk about. Like it's beyond all of it. It's that in which they all appear in. And the other part, like that, just wanted to add with what Josh. I think one point that we didn't really make clear today, which probably needs addressing, is the fact that in this appearance, it appears as though we absolutely there is a me that has free will and choice and autonomy. And it's a really important aspect of it all, because there isn't. So when the sense of self really isn't as what there's no solidity. It can't be found. It doesn't reside in the back of the head or in the distance, therefore there is nothing that can have that anyway. So it's not even a question of like having it or not having it. I think these days, like even science proves that the ability to make a choice has nothing to do with any idea of making a choice. So choices seem to arise like through the biological mechanism, and it's got nothing to do with any idea of making a choice. And yet there seems to be a me that claims to be the doer, the controller, the choice maker, and it's simply a fiction. And yet this is one essence appearing as I'm the choice maker, so it's all of that. And this isn't to say, this message isn't to say that there's a character called Dean as understanding about no choice maker, which means that other people are fools because they think that they're choice maker. It's not like that at all. It's like all I'm trying to do is describe the show, the play in which it's all appearing in, and every color, every facet, every aspect of it is absolutely inclusive. Every feeling, we haven't spoken about feelings today, every emotion, a gut-wrenching heartache of some tragic, whatever it is that appearing as that feeling or that expression. So everything is included, and yet none of it has substance. None of it is solid. And I think there's a great relief in that. There's actually just even that alone is another way. It's just another way of talking about what we're talking about, a different facet of that which can't be expressed. So, because this is my day on the stage, I can talk a lot, and and soon it'll all end. So you were going to read something.
Update some more comments from the online community. I think the last one I read was from Gilbert. So Giotti says, great spiel, Dean. Kat and Tanya, and a love heart. And John says, wonderfully put, Dean, thank you. Anthony says, life without consciousness is a profound idea, lol. Anita says, what then is intuitive creativity? Hold that one. And then Gilbert says, I am that by which I know I am. I am that by which I know I am. But yes. Yes. And Bob would say, can you not be? It gets you there. And Gilbert says, the captive imagination. No one is in bondage. Self-bondage is an illusion of being separate. Simple as that. And Peter says, is there a problem? But let's go back to Anita's question. And how about I'll give Kat an opportunity to dive in too, because she might have something for us. But Anita says, what then is intuitive creativity? Kat, are you listening?
Yes, I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
Would you like?
Yeah, so what Tata was saying, you know, what's clogging it or what's hiding it or what's obscuring it, one could say it's just a narrative program, but it's really simpler than that. Narrative program is not a problem. And Gilbert said it initially, I mean, he said it again now, watching the mind, observing the mind, seeing how it functions, reveals everything. Mind is like a cloud generator. It generates clouds. Does it really obscure the sky? Can it obscure the sky? Can you at any point, whatever the clouds of thoughts and stories and concepts and cage of self-identity constructed from thoughts, can it really obscure the fact of existence? It can't. It's just the distribution of attention. It's just the believing. It's just focusing in the mind rather than just relaxing into the being, into that obviousness of existence. But the spontaneous creativity that Anita asked about, yeah, of course, everything is that. So that's a beautiful, beautiful, very pleasurable and satisfying way of that one essence experiencing and expressing itself, isn't it? Anita was teaching us doing watercolors on our little mandala class. Ah, what a joy! The beautiful way of that life essence experiencing and expressing itself through spontaneous creativity. And guess what? Every moment is a spontaneous creativity. From the life's perspective, every moment is an art. If instead of focusing to the description of this moment, you really open up completely, just like be just as wide and as open as the space itself is, then you will see every moment of this beautiful dream as a piece of art, spontaneous expression, spontaneous artful expression. And of course, what we do here, we describe, because descriptions are relatable. Everyone can give us their own description and we can relate. Oh yeah, I see that aspect. Oh yeah, this one too. And it's a joy. This is also a spontaneous art. The description of this incredible, unrepeatable, fresh and new moment now, in which the life is looking at itself from every pair of eyes and is experiencing itself through every bum sitting on every chair or sofa. What an incredible moment. Describing it in all sorts of different ways helps us just to relate those aspects. And like, you know, Jesus would be saying that when two or more gather, you know, that energy grows. So there is a natural joy and it's a natural pleasure in bringing attention to that which is beyond the movement of attention. It's dispersing it and embracing that mystery, that beautiful, unfathomable, ungraspable, unexplainable mystery of existence and mystery of that ever fresh dream, which is a spontaneous art that life is presenting in this moment.
I was
A
going to.
wonderful question, Anita. I know you can answer it yourself, so give us your spin.
I was going to describe it pretty much the same way. but it really. No, really. Like when I heard those terms, intuitive creativity, like it's obvious. Like this is the creativity. The explosion of this appearance is the creativity, and it's intuitive in the sense that it's like self-perpetuating, if you want to say that. But that's not true either. It's just a way of explaining things again. But thank you, Kat.
Just the natural functioning, actioning, happening, all of that. It's all creative, if you like. that natural, just the natural happening without, came up when you said about clouds. Yeah, this seeming mind is just it's a smoke machine. It's just smoke. Seemingly obscures the experiencing of the now. Seemingly draws you out somewhere other than presence, but it's all an illusion. You never leave. It came up the other night in Zoom, one of those Nisargadatta quotes about coming back to the home you never left. The home you never left. Forget about paths and gates and gateless gates and pathless paths and all of this. It is the home you never left. You never leave it. You're always, that's it. You're always there.
If you've ever been lost, you realise that you're always here. You can't find your direction. But it's always the same. It's always the same here-ness, the same now-ness, the same home, the same essence in which everything's appearing.
So what does that say? It says there's nothing to do. There's no doer. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to change. The whole story that you bought into about progressing, achieving, mending, becoming better is all part of the story, and it's all an illusion. Come on, you've got like 20 more minutes to start.
So everyone should just have a nice bath.
Ice bath?
Yeah, ice bath for everyone. Ross, thank you, Ross.
What about subject and object? And something that Bob mentioned in that little white book, pure subjectivity. That's a question.
It's a statement.
Just another way of describing.
It's a fabulous way of describing. There can only be a subject with the me, and the subject creates the object, subject-object. And when the central reference point, oh yeah, thank you. When the central reference point isn't, or seen to be fictitious, then it can only be pure subjectivity, which means that anything in the appearance is the subject. So the whole of creation is the subject, and there is no object in which it is. But when there's a sense of a me, then it's subject, object, and pure subjectivity is, as you could say, the natural state. But that's implying that there's an unnatural state, and there really isn't, because that's implying that there's an error in the whole system, and we need to fix it. So that's why I just put those disclaimers in, I guess, because but pure subjectivity is, it took years for that to sort of, and then one day it was like, wow, pure subjectivity. Those words were actually fully known for what they were pointing to, because everything, that's the oneness, is the pure subjectivity, the one essence, in where there's no more thoughts, or there's no belief in any thoughts or ideas or notions that there is a separate entity here, and there's just one thing appearing, and in that appearance is bodies, many cats, many everythings. But did you want to say something more about that?
Well, what's experienced is the contrast between sitting here earlier in the morning when you were talking, Dean. It was like I couldn't keep my eyes open, and inside my head there was someone bashing me with a, I don't know, something, and I was being knocked around and I just couldn't focus or anything like that. But there's a few occasions where the senses are completely open and there's a freshness in the air, crisp, fresh, new, and at a wide spaciousness. There's no me, but there's something that's taking it in, and it's an unforgettable experience. Most of the time it's somewhere in between those two extremes. I've always had the idea that concentration had something to do with it. So I spent a lot of time on Vipassana retreats where you sit for hours and hours, meditate. I didn't realise until a long way into that Vipassana journey that the times that were really important is when you stop all that meditating, go outside and just sit under the Bodhi tree or just take in the freshness of the morning or whatever it is. So it still remains a mystery.
Isn't that great? That it always remains the mystery, no matter how much description is offered. It is still beyond the conventional knowing of the mind.
Yeah.
It cannot ever be known or grasped. Trying is futile. And trying is also what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just another function.
Trying to get somewhere, trying to become.
Yeah. And the experience is really the pure subjectivity. Bob would always say that, labeling, mind, coming into the picture and dividing things into subject, object. That's again what Gilbert pointed out. Know the mind. See how it functions. The direct experience is there is no subject, there is no object. Those are just words. But the direct experience, for example, of seeing is, where are you seeing from? Is there anyone there looking? No, it's just a field of seeing. That field doesn't begin anywhere. You focus behind your eyes, there's nothing there. And out of that nothingness comes the whole visual field, the whole field of your gaze. Without any labels, you can't separate yourself. But the sense of subjectivity of I am doesn't go anywhere. It just shows up as that whole field of seeing. Without dividing that field, that this is me, the seer, here, and there is a scene out there. This is a subject and this is the object. The direct experience is just this. Is within that field of pure subjectivity, there is some unnameable kaleidoscope showing up, but that's already one word away. But the pure subjectivity, I also really like that description, and thank you for bringing it up, Ross, because very often in those discussions, when we point towards, and we call it awareness, for example, or presence, or being, or knowing, and the fact that this is, well, we also say I am that, or that I am. The fact that this is the most intimate, the closest to your heart, closer than your breath, than your face. That this is the real pure subjectivity, the sense of existence, the sense I am, which is so intimately known, is so close to the heart. Calling it awareness or God or consciousness or whatever else, calling it in the form of language, which is a third person, doesn't give it a justice. Because that sentience there, that, inclusion of everything, physical heartbeat is nothing. It is much, much more intimate. It's much, much closer. It is called the heart. It's the heart of existence, or it's the heart of the essence. Pure subjectivity. Within that, the dreams are floating and changing. But within that I am, that existence, everything else happens. And all the words, I like what Tristan was also saying, like dismantling the polishing the mirror metaphor. Beautiful. I mean, there is no truth in any pointer. Gateless gate metaphor, or even training the mind, like Ross was talking about Vipassana. Of course, it's wonderful to have trained mind that can concentrate and focus. Ask anyone with ADHD how nice it is to have the mind that is completely scattered around and can't, of course it is good to have healthy legs instead of a wheelchair. Of course it is good to speak a couple of languages, but it has nothing to do with recognition, which is spontaneous, available regardless of the mind, whether the mind is focusing or whether the mind is crazy, or whether the legs are there or wheels. This is prior to everything that appears in the mind, prior to the condition of the body, prior to the skills. Concentration is a skill. Meditation, like where you keep the mind concentrated, is a skill. Wonderful skill. Fantastic skill. Probably more helpful, or maybe not. Comparison it's not really necessary. But in this particular investigation, there are many other skills like cooking or whatever. Although polishing the mirror can be through cooking too. The mind training, everything, the whole dream, the whole adventure of finding life as life, finding yourself in that funny costume of a human being. The whole show is a ride. And training the mind in whichever way, through jogging, or through lifting weights, or through cooking, is part of the fun. And it doesn't matter whether you trained your mind by indulging in conspiracy theories, because this is not a you. It is just life having fun. So there is absolutely nothing wrong in anything, in eating animals or not eating animals, or gathering and investigating or converting others to some or the other religion or diet or whatever it is. Because none of you is doing it. It's just the content of the dream unfolding. And remembering, just recognizing that pure subjectivity, that natural awareness of whatever is happening within that field of knowing, that is limitless. See what's happening within the field of knowing. Well, thoughts, imagination of other galaxies, parallel universes, all of that is happening within that field of knowing. Direct knowing of the temperature in the room, or the taste on your tongue, or the bum sitting, and the experience of the body, or smells, or whatever, and the experience through the medium of imagination, or the medium of memory, which is also a form of imagination, because it is all constructed naturally. In this moment, there is no past, there is no future, it's all spontaneous. What a ride. And the knowing, the content, the ride is the content, is the dream. But the knowing, deliciousness of being, that witnessing presence to that absolutely unique, juicy, colorful dream happening. What a delight. And what a different way of living than living encapsulated in that little page of concept that is just me, and I like this, and this is relevant to me, and this is important to me, and this is not important to me, and obsessing and obsessing and obsessing. I need this. I don't need that anymore. Or I need to grow up. I need obsessing about the I, obsessing about the content of the mind, and completely missing out on the freshness and the newness, and even ignoring the fact that this whole dream, the whole seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, is only here because of that I amness, because of that existence, and giving it a space in the heart, because without that, nothing is. Without the I am, nothing is. And just, like Bob would say, giving it a nudge, or a wink. Just acknowledging, and acknowledging, like in the, I think it was the Gospel of Thomas, acknowledging it in all thy way, lifting the stone or splitting the wood, and that's the knowing that anything, anywhere, no need to look outside, just acknowledging it right now. Look at this beautiful Zen master cat in the middle.
That's it.
Completely comfortable with being.
Zen master. That's best, all right. Oh, thank you, Kat. That was beautiful. Is it okay if I read a couple more comments? Yeah. I think the last one was Peter asking, is there a problem? And then Anthony says, when I find myself in the position where I bring this truth up, I bubble with excitement. Nothing excites me more, even though it's a hopeless endeavor. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And then Anthony says, truth is able to be forever consumed without gluttony. Damn, gluttony is like my core thing. Peter says, everyone appears as a tautological nightmare, creating something from the perfection of the perfect knowledge that all is fullness and emptiness and self-evidently already true. Yeah. And Catherine's watching, and Anika. Okay, that's it. Yes, some very thoughtful comments there.
Do you think there's like a fundamental truth? Because for there to be a truth, there must be a lie. So it's an interesting thing. Like now we're talking about non-duality. We're talking about the truth. That means others are talking about it like you want to say. I'm just bringing it up, because this existence, this nowness, this immediacy is the friggin' truth in all its display, in all its array, in every color, every facet is the truth because it is. No matter how it appears, has to be, it is the only truth that we can point to. But I'll pass it to you. Yeah.
But hey, we don't need to label it anything. We don't need to label it true or false. It's actually true and false.
Yes.
It's neither true or false.
Excellent. That's why I thought I'd just bring it up. But has anyone got something else to want to? Just speak the truth.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the reason, for me at least, the reason pointers work is because they have a universality to them. So like if any negation based pointer is going to automatically even negate itself, like Ramana Maharshi's "Who am I?" You use the kind of stick until you're ready to toss it into the pyre. And so that's kind of, I guess, shows the emptiness of all things, right? Like, even the things we take to be, we use them as, all of these traditions and pointers and things are concepts. We use these concepts to go beyond the conceptual, beyond the language, and into the kind of the heart of the divine, or the soul of God, we could call it. And finding out what that is, what that kind of dialectic, or kind of how to have that conversation within oneself and with our teachers and things like that, is kind of all included in this play, everyone has their own kind of way to share that, which is a very beautiful thing, and I'm very glad and grateful for all of you. So just to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes. Come on.
Couple more minutes. It's like Cole, Tanya.
Oh, no. Hang on.
Oh, okay. Well, Kat. Oh. Cool. Well.
No, I think, Dino, you have to wrap it up now.
Well, it's easy. It's very easy.
It's beautiful. It's really enjoyable. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening. I really like, honestly, like all these meetings and discussions and pointers and as like you sort of pointing out, like what you're pointing out, like they're actually realized when they don't exist anymore, when they all dissolve and collapse, and there is no pointer as such. There's no pointing. It is just because the beingness or the sense of this immediacy and the way it appears is the ultimate pointer is existence itself. So we started the meeting, I guess, talking about or describing why we're even having a meeting and what it's about, which is the fact that you are that. And I think we're going to end the meeting in the same way that we started. And in fact, it's worse than that, because your whole existence is that anyway. So, I mean, does it full circle and just, it never did anything. See, do you see? Like, that's why people can honestly say nothing ever happened, because it never really did. It's not an incredible thing. So, and isn't it beautiful? Like, even if there's a glimpse of this, if you feel separate or whatever, and something sort of rings or resonates or vibrates or whatever, there's an instant sense of peace or knowing or connecting that there's some sort of, everyone is in it. We're all in it, the whole show together. There's no escaping it, no matter whatever's being experienced, no matter all the infinite points of views, there's only one. There's no point to view from, again, is there? There is just the viewing, and we are all the viewing, and there is no one that's viewing. And in that, we are already that. So there's nothing to fix or change or improve. The great perfection is exactly that. Like, it is the perfection because everything is exactly as it is, and there is no disputing that. No one can deny it that it is. You can't say it is not. It is. And in that isness, in that nowness, in that immediacy, the spontaneity, everything, I mean, all we've just done, we haven't done anything really. Like this meeting and every other meeting and every other, it's the same thing, isn't it? The same stuff's going on. And I don't know, sometimes I just think we should just talk about funny matters and just have go and celebrate together and just have a good meal and a good laugh, because honestly, because even that didn't happen and nothing's ever happened. And
let's just go dancing.
Yeah, let's just dance and celebrate. So anyway, well, look, thank you. Thanks for everyone for coming, and thanks for listening to me. Thank you, Kat, and thank you, Tanya, and thank you, Pesto, and the Zen Master, of course.